A bunch of franchise teams have recently released roster announcements, with 12 teams so far producing full video productions to introduce their Valorant franchise rosters. I decided to rank them all and place them in tier lists. So let's start with the bottom, the C tier. These teams mostly landed at the bottom of the list because there was either something glaringly wrong with their video, or their players were never showed in the video itself. We're starting with the bottom of C tier, number 12. So T1's roster announcement video is not inherently bad. There's a really cool render at the beginning for T1, the music's cool, but the main issue starts when the players are introduced. It seems like minimal work was put in to make the montages, and it was hard to tell really who was on the team. No pictures of any of the players were shown. Overall, it just wasn't memorable. So let's move on to number 11. The main issue with Global Esports' announcement was the same as T1's. It just showed text of the players' names and a little snippet of a great play from each player, but it didn't show any of the players actually. This one's better than T1 because it showed the city that they were playing in, and it looked honestly pretty cool. But other than that, there's nothing really special about this announcement. Moving on to the middle of C tier, number 10. So we have Giants here. So the main issue with this is that the majority of it is a weird skit about hacking Riot and hacking deleting the players that they're announcing off the database, so like taking them off free agency. That wasn't necessarily communicated, but overall it's just a very confusing one. Doesn't show the players really, mostly just focuses on this guy hacking. Just doesn't do it as a roster announcement video, even though they put in the effort. Moving on to the top of C tier, number 9, Team Heretics. So overall it's a pretty cool video to begin with, showing off each of the new players on this tattoo, but then mostly it's just a render of the Team Heretics logo on all the different players. This is very interesting, cool, but ultimately it doesn't show the players again, which if you notice, that's a problem with all the C tier. I kind of put all the ones that had this issue, not showing the players, as C tier, but this one did the best at actually announcing each player so far. So now into the B tier, starting at the bottom, number 8. I Have Evil Geniuses. This might be like a little bit of a controversial one. It shows the coach, Potter, introduces all the players they have so far and to show that they're going to be a 10-person roster. It's a solid video. It's short, and you'll see the videos after this are just better than this one. This one's a solid one, but the next 7 are just better. At number 7, I have Detonation Gaming. It's a solid video, shows all the players, music's really cool. It's very simple, gets you introduced to who's going to be on this team. But other than that, it's just a simple like hype up video. It does its job very well, and you know who the other Japanese franchise Valorant team is. Now moving up to the upper part of the B tier. These last 6 videos, each organization put together some skit, something to highlight all the players, to maybe add some comedy, do a lot more with their players to introduce them, which I think for any good Valorant announcement video, like for your roster, I think you have to have that. So number 6, Navi. This one's a longer one and at times just feels overly long. The comedy's kind of goofy and doesn't always land, but it really showcases the personalities of the players, that this team, which is just FPX and CNED, is going to really click together and that they have fun together and that this is going to be a team to watch out for. Moving on to number 5, I have Karmine here, the French team. And this one is also kind of goofy, doesn't relate to me. It feels too serious when a lot of the other ones just aren't serious at all. But I do think it really hits the mark for what this team is. You understand that this is definitely a French team. But overall, it's a little cheesier than the top 4 that personally I think. But overall, it introduces all the players, gets you really pumped up for this team, and that they're serious about trying to win. Now finally moving on to the A tier, number 4. So I have NRG here. They actually split it all up originally and posted it on Twitter, introducing each player individually. This is a team that I'm very excited for. They put a lot of work into it. It's interesting, it's fun. It's a little cheesy, especially with the artists, but overall, I'm excited for this team. This video is exciting and really fits the team's aesthetic. On to the final 3. Here I have fnatic. Some people have said this boaster is like kind of cringy and everything. I just think he's just having fun. He loves acting. I think it's a fun video. It's cheesy, yeah, but it's fun to introduce all the players through this fun way. This is kind of who Fnatic is. They do this silly thing. They do little sketches together, and it shows that like everyone's into it too. Boaster is their IGL, and you need to be kind of on that level. But overall, it's a fun video. I think there's some controversy on it, but overall, I don't think it's terrible. I think it's actually pretty good, and it's a fun video. Moving on to the final two, and this is really hard for me to pick. I went back and forth on it. I thought, but overall, I think one of them has just an element more that made me more excited for the roster. So that's why I had to put Cloud9 at number 2. And that's hard for me because I'm definitely a Slime fan, and having him introduce all the players is very fun. This video is great. It shows off every player, gets you excited, feels like something that VCT would have put together themselves, gives each of them a nickname. It's well edited, it's fun, and this team is a super team, yeah. So now down to the singular S tier announcement video. It's none other than Team Liquid's. This one had everything. It showed highlights of each player, had a cool intro, great music, great editing, showed off the players, showed off what roles they'll be playing, while also having the best render by far. I really enjoyed it. I think everything is very well put together. Sometimes not having your players speak, just letting their game speak is enough, especially when you have this roster, when you have Nats, you have Redcar, you just upgrade it in every sense. With a team that's already good, how do you upgrade from Scream and Navera? You get Nats. And so that's what they did. They just showed off their team rather than doing any skits, doing anything. Oh yeah, and Safe also, great player. Overall, this video is just really well done. It makes me already even more hyped for one of the favorites now in EMEA. Overall, I'm so excited for next season and these rosters that have been announced. It just shows how great 2023 season will be with all these franchise teams. And not even all the rosters have been fully announced. There's so many more roster announcement videos that might be coming out soon before February starts with the kickoff tournament.